Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. I'm your favorite Minx, and this is...
Jay, your favorite trainer. Don't forget it.
Ooh, I like it. Hashtag favorite trainer. Everybody's always saying that the recommended amount of steps that you should take is like 12,000.
Okay.
10 and 12,000, right?
All right.
FYI, it's really hard to do that when you have an office job, by the way.
You know what else is hard?
What?
Living with regret.
Yes, it is.
And looking in the mirror and knowing that you could have did it, but you didn't.
Well, so that's my question. Like, is it a bigger deal to do it concentrated all in one shot, or get it in as long as it's in within that 24-hour period to get all those steps in?
So here's the thing when it comes down to steps. Like, it depends who you're talking about, really. So, like, if you're talking about somebody who's, like, working out already, like, let's say you have, I'm just going to throw a couple examples out there when it would apply and when it wouldn't apply.
Okay.
Because really what it comes down to is your current level of daily activity.
Okay.
So if we're talking about Homer Simpson, right? Homer Simpson. If you don't know Homer Simpson, you're way too young to be watching this. Please go follow Mr. Beast or somebody else. You have no idea what we're talking about right now. So Homer Simpson, you know, has a 9-to-5 job, drinks beer, doesn't work out, very sedentary lifestyle, sits down at work, sits down at home, doesn't do anything. Mm-hmm. That individual doesn't have a lot of daily movement and activity, and movement burns calories. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things we talk about all the time is our BMR, our basal metabolic rate, where there's a certain number of calories you have to burn every day,
right,
but that your body burns every day to keep you alive.
Right.
Kind of like if you had a business, you have to make X amount of money to keep the business going, regardless of whether you do anything.
Right.
The same thing for your body. It's just what you need to live. So for me, for example, my BMR sits right around 2,200 calories.
Okay.
So that means if I woke up and sat in a chair and did nothing all day, nothing, I'm going to burn off 2,200 calories regardless,
just
right?
by being
Just by being alive.
Yeah.
That's what your body burns, being alive, right? So, you know, going with that with the BMR, right? So, then you add in other things. That's your biggest calorie burn right there, by the way, for most people, is your BMR. Then you look at what you burn off in your workout. We call that your WOD. Well, we call that at our gym your WOD calories. WOD stands for workout of the day, and it's the amount of calories you burn off during your workout. So, I typically say to people that a good rule of thumb is that after we test your BMR on the InBody, which we use, right? The average individual, just as a guideline and a marker, right? Because some people go to the gym, but they don't really do anything. Like, they sit around, they bullshit, they're talking with their friends. And yeah, you took a class or you worked out, but how effective was that workout? We tell people you should be burning about 20 to 25% of your BMR over the course of an hour as a good guideline marker. So for me, right, you know, usually 2,200, 2,400 calories, I say, hey, I'm supposed to be burning somewhere between 500 to 600 calories in the hour. If it's a half hour, I just cut that number in half. And there's some days where I'll burn off way more than that. Like, I think today I burnt off 1,000 calories in 75 minutes. Wow. Because I was doing a harder workout, where some days where, like, if my back's bothering me or my shoulders bother me or I got to do more stretching, I might only burn off like 450 in an hour. So you can look at that a couple different ways. Did I work hard? Did I not work hard enough? Do I have certain days to make up for it? But it just gives you some kind of unit of measure, like, how'd you do? Same thing again. Even if I burn off 1,000 calories, not as much as my BMR, right? Then you have your non-exercise based activity, where this is really probably one of the bigger areas somebody can make up a lot of activity on. If you have a physically demanding job, like a construction worker, or if you're a golf caddy walking around carrying bags all day, or like with me, I'm a fitness trainer, so even though, like, you know, I'm not really working out when I'm doing this, I'm walking around, I get like myself 20 to 25,000 steps in before 12 o'clock every day. So I'm walking around checking form, going through the gym, which isn't a lot to me, carrying weights for people, racking stuff. So I have activity in my daytime. With somebody who has an office job, like a Homer Simpson, like, they're gonna walk from their bed around a little bit in their house, walk to their car, walk to their desk, sit there, maybe walk to the coffee pot in the bathroom a couple times, walk back to their car, walk from the car back home, walk around a little bit, maybe walk the dog if they're really lucky, and like, that's their day. And I know a lot of our clients, they only get like 2,500 or 3,000 steps in a day.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's as much as we move around doing those little tasks, it's not that many steps. It's
not a lot of steps at all. So going back to what I was saying, you look at somebody like a Homer Simpson. Yes, steps are a big thing because it's the only a Homer Simpson can't go and work out 5 days a week. whether he has the mindset that he can't do that, in the belief system that he can't do that, or physically he just doesn't have the time. You know, we work with a lot of busy moms and dads that just don't physically have the time to work out the same amount as like a college kid, or somebody who's maybe, let's say somebody is a stay-at-home parent, like one of our members. You know, the husband is stay-at-home because the wife's job requires a lot more travel, and you know, it just works better for them. So I don't want to say stay-at-home wife because I don't want to catch all the shit for like labeling people, but you know, if you're stay-at-home, like you might have more time to go to the gym and like spend an hour and a half or 2 hours every day. Some people just don't have that time, especially when you're first starting off. So your steps is an easy way to say, oh, I can't make it to the gym. Okay, great. Walk down the block a bunch of times. And it's a way to get some kind of activity in for them.
Okay.
Now, somebody like you who works out like multiple times a week, steps don't mean shit.
Okay.
Because you're gonna, I shouldn't say they don't mean shit, because my wife's gonna fucking kill me. Not that they don't mean shit, but they're not as important, because you're gonna get activity, you're gonna get motion, you're gonna get exercise in during the day. For me, I'm not saying, oh, I'm going to go hit 30,000 steps. I'm working out. I'm doing my shit. I'm doing my thing. So in the beginning, having these goals like, hey, you need to hit 8,000 steps. You need to hit 10,000 steps. We're just trying to give people something very, very easy they can do to get motion and movement in their body,
Gotcha.
burn calories, and not be like, you have to go to the gym. You have to be sore for a couple days. You have to go feel uncomfortable in front of all these people. And just, It's a very low stress entry level point to get people moving and doing more.
Oh, I love that.
Movement burns calories.
Right.
Now, you look at somebody like a Marge Simpson, right? Marge Simpson, steps will be okay, because Marge could probably go to the gym if she wanted to. You know, she's not working. Still has the responsibilities of the kids and everything else. Maybe she's busy. But then you look at somebody like Clark Kent, a.k.a. Superman, my boy. Steps aren't going to do shit for him.
Right.
You know, you look at somebody like, let's talk reality. Somebody like, I don't watch sports at all. I'm going to say Tim Tebow. That's how you know I'm fucking dating myself. Like,
That's what I would have said.
He's working out, like, most of the time. That's his job. So steps don't really fucking matter for him.
Okay.
You know, so steps are really just a matter of, you know, how much activity you're getting in the day. We measure your activity. It's one way we use to measure it, right? Like, for example, let's say we talk about a famous social media influencer, Andrew Tate. I saw him on my feed today. It just popped in my head.
Okay.
So Andrew Tate has a lot of money. So if we say, hey, how do you measure somebody's wealth? You might look at somebody like me or you or any of you guys watching this where, you know, middle class to, you know, lower upper class, where you might say, oh, well, I have X amount of investments and my debt ratio is, you know, 30-1 or whatever the fuck it is. Let's say I have 30% of the debt ratio, right? Where somebody like Andrew Tate might have a higher debt ratio because he builds businesses and he's taking money out, but he's also has assets that he's making money from too. He can also count like his boats, his investments, real estate property. Like, there's other things you're going to use to measure that. Life insurance policies. So, you know, steps, like the reason why I went off on that tangent, steps are just one unit of measure that we have, but not everybody can be measured off the same things. So are they important? They are. They have their place in everybody's program, but for the right person.
Okay.
Now, for somebody who's more advanced, I think a good way to if you're trying to figure out calories. I have a client, we have to change. She has two sets of calories. She has a high calorie day and a low calorie day based on how active she is. Like, the calorie deficit we have her in is like 1,200 calories. That's basically what, and she's getting results on it. But the day she goes to work, she's a hairdresser. She works like 3 days a week, very high-end clients. She can't get by on 1,200. So for those days, we measure her activity, we see the difference, and like, we're like, okay, you're going to eat 1,600 calories on these days because it's going to give you the energy you need. But on the days where you have low activity, we'll give you 1,200.
Okay.
So somebody who's a little bit more advanced, it can handle like, hey, you're going to have two different sets of numbers. It really lets you fine tune the numbers. So the days that you need more calories, you're there and you don't feel like dying and passing out. Or the days where like you don't eat a lot of calories, like you're sitting home, you're relaxing, maybe you're doing a lot of office work, that'll be like a lower calorie, maybe a lower carb day.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it's just a unit of measure we use to figure out other shit.
Okay.
That's a short answer.
Well, that's that was a short answer.
That's an episode. That's a fucking episode all in itself right there.
That was an episode all in itself. So now, all right. So going back to people who do exercise and not just are walking, like people like me, does it matter what time of day that they work out?
Oh, it's okay. You like giving me all the hard questions. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this.
Okay.
Yes and no. What do I mean by that? So, does it matter at the end of the day? Doesn't matter whether you do it in the morning, the evening, the afternoon. The best time to work out is the time that you actually can work out.
Okay.
So if you're the kind of person where like you can wake up super early. Like, I love waking up at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's fucking around. Nobody's like, the hardest thing in the world is to work. We've talked about this. The hardest thing in the world to do is to work at a gym and work out. Because, you know, my job is, and our job as trainers is to like help you guys out with like questions, you know, guide you in the right direction. And we want to be there for you. But at a lot of times we're sacrificing ourselves in our own workouts because we're on the floor, we're not busy. Oh, let me grab Jay real quick. He has a second. I really don't. I'm really trying to get my own shit because you can't trust a chubby trainer, right? Yes, round is still a shape, but it's not the shape I want to be in. So I'm trying to get my own shit in, but I'm not going to tell this person no.
Right.
So for me, I like going in super early because nobody's awake, nobody can bother me, nobody can call me, nobody can text me. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but like, I tell people you got to be very selfish with your workouts. You got to take care of you first before you take care of other people.
Okay.
Where somebody else, they might say, Jay, I can't do that because my kids will wake up and then the household's up and I got to walk the dogs and I can only work out in the middle of the day during lunch. Great, that might work awesome for you. That might not work for somebody else. Whenever you can get to the gym and whenever you can work out, that is the best time. Because if you try waiting for the perfect scenario, it's never going to fucking happen.
Okay.
Now, are there more effective times to work out? You can argue yes or no, because I've had clients that worked out at night and ate right before they went to bed and they lost huge amounts of weight, which are two big no-nos right there. And I've had clients who worked out at the ideal time of the day and they ate all the right stuff supposedly, and like they saved their last meal with just a protein shake and a plate of ice chips, and they fucking gained weight because like they just weren't doing other shit throughout their day. So there's things to put you in a better chance to have success, but like at the end of the day, just getting it in is the best time.
Okay.
So let's go back to the other side. Is it effective to choose the time? It is, like first thing in the morning. If you wake up first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, you're in a period of fasting. So if your blood sugar levels are lower and the goal is to burn body fat, if you wake up and start doing your cardio or any kind of workout in general, you're going to be burning off a higher percentage of fat than you will from, you know, the food you ate because you didn't eat anything yet. It's the whole intermittent fasting concept.
Okay.
So it's like if you're driving a car, you have 10 gallons of a 10-gallon gas tank and you have your reserve tank. And you have like half a gallon of gas left in your main tank. Now your reserve tank is your fat cells, right? That's your backup stuff. Your main tank is like your carbohydrates, the glycogen inside of your liver, your muscles, your bloodstream, all that stuff. So if you got to get to your reserve tank faster, don't fill up your main tank. Burn that shit off and go right to your reserves. Now you're burning off your reserve tank. Where if I fill up my gas tank before I go to work out, well, I got to burn off all that new shit before I get into the fat burning phase. Now, you're going to burn off carbohydrates and fats regardless of when you work out. Some people try to play into this way too much. But could the science argue that there are better times to work out? Yes. In theory, if you're working out in the morning, first thing on an empty stomach, and the goal is cardio and fat loss, you will burn more calories. If you're trying to put size and strength on, the science says that you shouldn't do that at first thing in the morning because you should do it after you've eaten a couple meals so you have more energy. Me personally, I need to do it first thing in the morning because otherwise my day gets started and I'm going to be thinking about a million different things. So it's really different for everybody. So can you argue, yes, are there better times of the day to work out? I can have that fucking argument both sides of the conversation for like hours. But the best time proven to work out is whenever you have the time.
Okay.
If you got 20 minutes right now, go do 20 minutes right now. Oh, but I could possibly do 45 minutes later. Guess what? 45 minutes later is not going to fucking happen. The dog's going to have to go out. You're going to get a phone call. The kids are going to want to fucking eat something. You're going to have to go pick something up down the street for your spouse. Millions of things are going to happen, and now you just lost your opportunity. If you got a chance to go now, you go now. And then if you get a chance to do it again later, fucking perfect.
Right.
But you got to seize the opportunity when you have it because otherwise, you know, if you keep waiting, like you're just not going to get in. So
then I just have one last comment to make. I have a lot of friends that'll message me and be like, oh, you know, I hit snooze and then I didn't get as long as I could have. I always tell them at least you got in what you got in as opposed to not getting anything at all. So
yeah, I mean, look, everybody's so set on specific, you know, units of measure. Like, oh, I needed to get an hour in. Okay, well, you didn't. Like, that's life. Go do 75 minutes tomorrow.
Right.
Or like if you're working out 4 days a week, okay, great. Whatever you missed, go do a fifth day. That's your makeup session. go do whatever the fuck you want. Like, I like to look at things in terms of weekly action goals for some things, right? How many minutes did I work out during the week? So if I'm working out, don't judge my math. So if I'm working out 5 days a week and I'm working out for an hour each time, that should be 300 minutes, right?
5 times 60 is...
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So if I need to work out 300 minutes a week and it's Friday and I only worked out 250, well, motherfucker, I owe myself 50 more minutes. Guess what I'm doing on Saturday? Going to the gym. But Jay, what do you do? Whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you're a bodybuilder, yes, you're going to have some kind of training split because that's based on your goal. But if you're the average busy mom and dad just looking to lose weight, get back in shape, get a little tone, get a little muscle, look better with your shirt on, look better naked, feel better naked, like the basic bullshit, you know, you're not like trying to max out your bench press. Like, it's not going to change your life. You're not a CrossFitter who's looking to compete and like has to go for like the best numbers and beat everybody else. Your only competition is you. So, you know, for me, that's why weekly action goals work best, because like it accounts for the error of life and Murphy's Law just fucking with you, and you have room to make it up. But if you say I have to do Monday through Friday and that's it, and you miss one of those days, you're gonna feel like you let yourself down. Mm-hmm. But if you have that ability to still make it back up, okay, great. Oh my God, Jay, the whole week went by and I didn't get it in. Great, guess what? This week you're doing 350. Like in school, you had homework, you missed an assignment, you do makeup work.
Right.
You know, calories, it kind of works the same way to a certain degree. Workouts, it works the same way. The only thing that doesn't really apply to is your daily protein intake. Whatever your number is for daily protein, if you miss that number for the day, like you miss that number. Like that's a lost opportunity. Like we have a girl, I was having this conversation with them yesterday. They are on 1,000 calorie diet right now a day.
Wow.
So 7 days a week. And it's not bad. It's, you know, but we have a lot of, anybody who's between 100 to 150 pounds starting weight, and they're trying to burn body fat, we'll start them at like 1,000 calories to kind of get them going in the right direction. But that's only for like 4 to 6 weeks, right? 1,000 times 7 is 7,000. So if she eats 1,200 calories today because she went over, I'd be great. For the next 2 days, we're only going to eat 900. Why? We're just going to make up for the days that we had inside of there. You know, it's just a big balance sheet. Protein, though, if you got to eat 100 grams of protein and you miss that, because your body was going to grow and recover from that. So it works a little differently. But workouts, it works phenomenal. Like, set a weekly action goal. Okay, great. I need to work out this amount of minutes a week. So if I'm doing 5 days a week, 60 minutes, you can come up with a number. And then if you miss a day, just make it up.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, shit's going to happen. You're going to stay late at work. Kids' practice is going to run over. The car's going to break down. The cat's fucking head's going to fall off. Like, a million things are going to happen. But, like, you can't control that. What you can control is how you react to that. And if you know, hey, I am just going to make it up. The hard part is having the discipline and the accountability to make it back up, which is where, shameless plug, our coaching program comes in, because you have somebody checking your shit who's going to say, hey, why didn't we do this?
Yeah.
And then when you start saying your justifiable reason, we're going to be, okay, great. So remember when you said like your goals were to do X, Y, and Z, and this was like the super important thing for you, and you would do anything to get there? Like, what changed? And that cuts deep. And you're like, fuck. Mm-hmm. All right, let me go do it.
True story.
So, you know, but if you got the discipline to do it yourself, like that's totally, I mean, that's great, you know, but that's the answer to that.
That's a great answer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, as always, we're here giving you some knowledge and tidbits, especially if you're starting out. So make sure you drop a follow, like, share. If you have any questions, let us know.
Questions, comments, concerns, points of interest, funny jokes, anything like that, you know. You know, like I said, if you guys like the channel, you know, if you have questions that you want to have answered, like she said, just drop them a comment in the DM. Drop a comment in the comment section, shoot us a DM. Like, we have our entire, like, knowledge base and experience base that we're trying to choose from. But if you guys have, like, specific questions, like, don't be afraid to shoot them out, because then it gives us an idea to do shit. We can get really deep on stuff and give you what you want versus what we think you want, right?
And if you ever want to meet us, drop a comment.
Awesome. Guys, have a great day. See you in the next video.
Have a good one. Okay.
That's a short answer.
Well, that's that was a short answer.
That's an episode. That's a fucking episode all in itself right there.
That was an episode all in it.